along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot more recently. People admitting that Trump was right. He was right the entire time. We were the ones that were wrong. Or I was wrong, right? I've been seeing that time and time again, and I got a clip that I want to show you guys from CNN where that is perfectly put on display. You're not going to want to miss that clip. I'm actually shocked. I am shocked that even aired. I genuinely am shocked that they even put that clip on air because of how wild it is for somebody to say that out loud on a network like CNN. Never would have expected it. But before we get to that clip, I want to play this other clip from John Fetterman. Yeah, John Fetterman, seemingly the only Democrat who has any resemblance of common sense or decency, right? Not saying that he's somebody that I would ever vote for, but he seems like the only Democrat with even just an ounce of common sense. I want to play this clip for you guys of John Fetterman from a town hall on News Nation with Stephen A. Smith, Chris Cuomo, and the crew, because he says something that's actually quite interesting. So with that being said, let's dive in.
Well, if you're thinking about winning the election, and so now that's all going to come down to 7 or 8 states. And that's really that matters. And I would like to remind everybody, because we all know that Trump ran the table, all of those kinds of states. And now you can't ever forget, these are the states that are going to determine who's going to be the next administration. And now a lot of the things, the extremism that people turned their back in 24, and that's how we kind of came up short. I campaigned for thousands and thousands of miles across Pennsylvania for Vice President Harris. And it was going to be incredibly difficult. You could just feel the energy there. And people really have connected there at a very fundamental level. And that's what I tried to explain to my party. And I'm trying to explain to the party right now. It's like, this is why we lost. And this is where we need to be to continue to win for these things. And there are parts of extreme things emerging clearly on those things. And that's why I refuse to follow that, even if that is going to cost me support in parts of the base.
Do you think Harris could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
You brought up a good point. I think I was the only Democrat early on to give President Trump credit for the peace deal. Well,
Nah, he doesn't think that she could have done it, which she couldn't have. Because if she could have, come on now, say it with me, she would have, right? It's almost as if people kind of forget that they were president. She was in the White House for 4 years. It's almost as if they've forgotten. She had the opportunity to do it, and she didn't. So, no, she couldn't have. Because if she could have, she would have. I mean, it's really quite simple. We don't have to speculate here, because we already know. She had the time and the opportunity to do it, and she couldn't. Neither could Joe Biden or anybody else, any other Democrat for that matter. So we don't have to sit around and speculate on this. But basically admitting that Trump is right And he resonates with all of us voters. Just saying. I'm loving this Trump is right tour. But here's the clip from CNN that I was talking about earlier. Check it out.
Are mad. Why the base is mad at some of the leaders in Washington is not because they're not left enough. It's because, Chuck Schumer came out with no strategy, no forewarning, and just said, we're going to fold on the CR. I mean, I think he could have done a better job of explaining what the strategy was and what we're going to do, but there wasn't anything like that. I think Democrats are learning, and I'm going to agree with you, that Democrats cannot only be the party of resistance. We cannot, we resisted so hard between 2017 and 2024. We impeached the guy. We prosecuted him, convicted him of 34 felony counts, and guess what? He still got elected. So I don't know how much harder we can resist now.
Are you admitting that that the case against Trump in New York was part of the organized Democratic Party resistance?
It was a Democratic prosecutor, and at the time, I said I thought it was unwise. I went on Fox News and said
there were Democrats who said this at the time.
There were a lot.
Just to be clear, everybody who now touts the 34 felonies, take it from Liz. This was not a real case. This was a plot to upend the presidential campaign, which backfired.
I just think it was a boneheaded move by Alvin Bragg, but it's not his first or last one. So.
This is why we invite Liz, because she's a plain-spoken New York Paul who can really tell it.
She's a plain-spoken New Yorker that could really tell it. Yeah, because unfortunately, the folks on CNN who are supposed to be the news don't actually really tell it. So admitting on live television, on national television, that, this was a concerted effort by the Democrat Party to sabotage a potential president. And I've said this before. Their hatred for Trump is what helped him win. If they just would have gone after him for one little thing, right? One little thing that could have locked him up for 10 years, 15 years, between 10 and 15 years, they actually might have pulled it off. We actually may have a Democrat president right now. But because their Trump derangement is so deep, it runs so thick, they had to, the way that they did it, it made it so cartoonish, it made it so unbelievable. Oh, 34 felony counts. Of what? Ooh, he got convicted. Oh, we're taking him to court over here. Ooh, we're taking him to court over here. Ooh, we raided his house. It just made it so unbelievable. Have you guys ever done this to anybody else? Trump is the first person. We've had people who pine boxed individuals, and you haven't gone after them with this much ferocity. We've seen people hit others in the head with hammers just right out on the street, and you didn't go after them this hard. But Trump, you going after like that? Really? Something smells fishy here. They woke up people because of how much they were trying to do to this one man. And it's their own fault. They helped him get elected. Ooh, we're going to get Trump's mugshot. Oh, you think him getting a mugshot is going to destroy him? It only made him more popular. Oh, man. I also want to play this clip out of California, a Democrat Congresswoman, Laura Friedman. Check out what it is that she has to say. Listen closely.
Every single week, we have a litigation working group where a large group of us, and I'm talking there's maybe 75 members of the House, sit down every single week with the AGs to talk about legal strategy. This is all going on every single week behind the scenes. It is nonstop talk, nonstop introduction of bills and legislation, nonstop being on social media as much as we can without being throttled and without the crazy analytics, and doing all these things. Every single week, we have a litigation working group where a large group of us, and I'm talking there's maybe 75 members of the House, sit down every single week with the AGs to talk about legal strategy. This is all going on every single week behind the scenes. It is not.
They sit down and discuss legal strategy while she's talking about Trump. They sit down and discuss legal strategy to basically resist Trump. I mean, we're putting two and two together here because she was speaking about Trump. That's what they sit down and do. Legal strategies to try to resist Trump. How can we resist Trump? How can we stop him? How can we throw him in jail? She admitted to that. Just said it out loud. But Trump's the king, right? These folks are these folks are seriously demented. They sit down amongst themselves to discuss strategies to throw that man in jail and to stop him, whatever that means. But Trump's the dictator? Really? It sounds like they want to be the dictators because we elected Trump to run this country and not them, democratically, because they like to say we live in a democracy. Well, under this democracy, while Kamala and Joe Biden were under the helm, we elected Donald Trump to run the show. But meanwhile, they're spending their time to undermine what we elected. That doesn't sound like democracy to me. Sounds like they want to be the dictators, the authoritarians. I'm just saying. What does it sound like to y'all? Y'all let me know in the comments, all right? Y'all let me know in the comments. But I just wanted to show that to you guys and get your thoughts and your opinions on this. And just make sure everyone in the country knows who the real dictators are. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.